and welcome back to the Silent Age. So now we're gonna finally put out this fire before we all burn down. Alright, now I can get... There we go. Got the axe, now I can become like an actual murderer and break down the door. God. Dan is becoming this giant psychopath that he's literally sound like the craziest person who has ever lived. I broke down your door because you are the key to saving the future. There's an aquarium with more clownfish. Somebody's taking good care of this fish. Lambert has to be around here. A couple books. March 11th, 1971. I got my work in progress. This is just in case maybe someone else needs to continue my work. It's been under a month since I left Archon. From what I've heard, it seems to be pushing ahead with more of its trials despite all the setbacks. Fools, every last one. January 6th, build preliminary plans for my homegrown version of IPMCI. The IPMCI, which I henceforth known as the Time Machine, can take me no less than 3 years to complete on my own, bearing any setbacks, of course. There are a couple of others, yeah, okay. Not worth it. Alright, let's see. No progress this week. Too cold nights. Imbecile broke, and since that imbecile broke down my bedroom door, and I nearly got mauled by a bear, so I finally caved in a button. I'd like to see him blunder his way through these. I'm still amazed that he gives an entirely new meaning to the term idiot proof. He must be talking about someone. Someone must have burst down his door. I'd probably got there if I slept in a bed this hard every night. It's another small plant. Ooh, a sock. Electrical socket. It's the math. There's simply no fighting it. No way in hell I'm going to reliably generate the 121 gigawatts required to... yeah. I'm scrapping it. The whole thing. It's time to start over. I'm going in circles. Everything keeps bringing me back to the handheld device that idiot showed me. How in the blazes did I accomplish that? Success. Using the salvage photo equipment I scavenged in March, I reduced the size of the circuit fabrications processed by order of magnitude. Once I redesign and reproduce the rest of the components, this thing should run off a moderately sized diesel generator. Huh. Well, here we are. Truth be told, I never imagined celebrating the turn of the millennium on some godforsaken pile of dirt in the middle of a swamp. I've never been one for parties, but given the chance, I'd give anything to make an ass of myself at the lampshade of some local gathering right now, rather than savoring those moments of the year over with another cabbage dinner and the last bottle of cheap Merlot. I did mean to read that wrong, by the way. There's always something behind these. No matter how many times we reference it, they always end up in the same place. My God, I am a moron. I'm talking about me in general. This dude is too. Can I find a fork to stick in there? Okay. That was actually a lot easier because I was a moron and I did not actually think about doing this. Alright.
Whoa.
Dude, totally, whoa, this is awesome. Totally, it's a good whoa.
What is wrong with me? Okay, using that.
Far out, man. We're in the 70s, couldn't you tell?
Oh.
Stop right there.
Whoa, wait.
Mr. Lambert, sir, it's me, Joe.
I don't know you. What are you doing in my house?
And why did you break in?
You sent me here, remember?
Oh my god, you moron!
No such thing. For an intruder, you're not very bright, you know that?
Oh god,
For all the commotion you caused getting in here, you might as well have brought a bulldozer.
I just chainsawed your handle
You have
off.
exactly 5 seconds to explain what you're doing here. Or so help me God, I'm pulling this trigger and sending you on your way.
God.
5.
I was sent here.
4.
By you.
3.
You told me to find you, to warn you about the end of the world.
I have a feel like I'm
2.
supposed to go to the...
You were old, with white hair, and you got shot. Oh, God, please don't shoot me, Mr. Lambert. This, you gave me this. It's an something chrono. It's a time machine.
I gave you that?
Yes!
I've never seen anything like it. But on the back, that's my family signet.
I don't know why I put that.
It's simply magnificent.
Maybe I should press the button and
gave
see
this
if
to
this
you?
actually
Why?
works, so that
Who
way
are
you
you?
don't sound like someone who's totally
Name's Joe,
insane
sir.
and just broke into my house.
I'm just a janitor at the Archon building. I found you in a room with a big, round door in the basement labs this morning, and you were dying.
Future you.
You said you'd come from 40 years in the future to stop the end of the world. I guess I was the only one around, so you gave me this and told me to find you and tell you all this, and I've been there. The future, I mean. A bunch of times. And you were right, Mr. Lambert. Everyone's gone.
This guy is totally insane.
God, so it did come to pass. They really did it, those greedy goddamn bastards.
Oh yes.
I told them this would happen.
The rich
Wait.
fat cats were the ones who
dying?
launched all the nukes for no
How?
reason. Just
You
because
said you'd
they'll
been
get
shot.
money to spend in an
I had
apocalyptic
to actually
world.
find you at the morgue to get this address.
Shot? By whom? No, wait. Don't say anything else. You succeeded in finding me, which means anything you tell me from this point on could alter the course of action that brought you to my doorstep. The less I know, the better. So, you've seen the future. What did you see?
Didn't you just ask me not to tell you?
It's like a bad dream, sir. Everyone's gone. Buildings are coming apart. It's all just quiet.
Maybe a silent
happened, Mr.
age.
Lambert?
It
How
is
the fuck should I know?
Dr. Lambert.
I'm not the
Considering
one from
all
the
the
future.
effort you just went through to find me, not to mention bearing witness to the horrific outcome of the biggest breakthrough in the history of science, I suppose I owe you some kind of explanation.
When I was just a lad, we
I was
first tried it on
24
cats.
when I got hired by Archon, or Athena as it was called back then.
there's
Athena was one of
probably
the many weapons
some
R&D
Greek
companies
joke to
formed
that.
during the Second World War. Unlike other R&D companies that had retooled themselves to pursue peacetime
Dear
activities
God,
after
this
the
is
war,
turning into a giant conspiracy
Athena had
theory
made
thing.
enough money to continue chasing the next big thing in defense technologies.
Time travel to kill
They were
Hitler
betting
before
the
he was
farm
born.
on post-war Soviet expansion, raising the level of government paranoia to create a lucrative market for esoteric weapons research.
Maybe they were onto something.
I'd say they made the right bet.
Yeah, I called that.
Still a theoretical physicist at MIT, my thesis on the possibility of time travel via
You know what would be
dimensional
nice
memory
is if the
got
background
published
like
shortly after I was
moved it
hired
at all.
in 1961. Company heads were so impressed, they gave me a team and a budget. Development exceeded even my own expectations. And after only 6 years, we had the first primitive version of the time machine up and running.
Then I went insane and started saying the end of the world was happening. We tried it on cats. It worked. The cat went to the future and came back.
Our first successful trials involved sending simple objects into the future with a timed return.
Oh God, we're the
With
Russians.
Archon
That Joseph
running out of
Stalin.
money, that was all the company bigwigs needed to secure a big fat contract with the Department of Defense.
Ah, yes. Big
Apparently,
fat cats are
we
the
had
only
sold them
ones.
on the idea that the technology could be used to go back in time and strangle communism in its cradle.
Bad idea. That
The
would
reality, of course, was that it couldn't.
Yeah, if you did,
Due to
World
the
War
laws
II
of
would have been
causality,
really
you can't
fucking
travel
weird.
back in time beyond the point where time travel was invented. And sooner or later, we had to explain that to our benefactors. When they started pushing for progress reports, Archon management had to come clean, but instead chose to ease government concerns by claiming the technology could be used to bring back advanced weapons from the future.
Always looking on the bright side,
But this too was a lie.
because everyone was dead. So, I can bring back a meat hook. They shot everybody, including Frank.
At this point, we'd already had our first of many human trials, and we knew there would be no weapons. In fact, our results were as terrifying as they were baffling. Time pilots returned frenzied and confused, raving about empty streets and human remains. At first, we assumed the city had suffered a Soviet attack in the near future and had been evacuated as a result. But as we pushed on further, the terrible reality became clear. Time pilots started returning fatally ill, dying within a day or two from
Oh,
painful
shit.
convulsions. Some never returned.
You probably
We
should have
lost
had a
several pilots, machine prototypes, and other equipment.
built a
When the first
quantum
contamination erupted in the
machine
lab,
that can
we were
bend the
completely
fabric of reality
unprepared.
itself.
losing 3 lab technicians to
tells me
what
that-
we later identified as an incredibly aggressive airborne virus.
That would take more than just a couple, decades. Unless you found some kind of secret device or whatever. I went nuts and started saying the world was going to
Although
end.
we weren't equipped to handle biohazards of this magnitude, management insisted we contain and study it. To keep our pilots and the virus alive long enough to study, we co-opted experimental cryotechnology from another project, Lazarus, and established a makeshift virus lab. Once again, the bigwigs managed to spin our setbacks into a success story for the Department of Defense, now claiming that the virus could be cultivated for use as a biological weapon.
You know, that way you
The
still
team
have your funding
threatened
so
to
you can do
resign.
this.
But outrage was swiftly quenched by promises of massive salary increases and stock options. I didn't take the bribe. I'd witnessed the lethal efficiency of the virus firsthand.
So it wasn't virus?
I knew there was only one way this was going to end, so I handed in my resignation and set up shop out here.
You
For
know,
over a
if
year,
somebody
I've been working
could,
to recreate the technology to bring me back in time and prevent mankind's extinction from ever happening.
you know, if somebody had this knowledge, they probably wouldn't just accept your resignation and just go, okay, be on your way.
And now you're here, the
And now I
harbinger
must
of
kill
doom
you.
on my doorstep, wearing a boiler suit.
Meaning you're
Who
infected.
could have imagined that Judgment Day would begin like any other Monday in May? In any case, unfathomable as it may be that you were able to bring this information to me, knowing is only half the battle.
They should use that in a
Preventing the
cartoon.
outbreak will require more than just your tenacity.
Me? Wait, what?
I'm a
Yes,
freaking
I'm
idiot.
afraid I must rely on you one more time. You must go back to Archon and prevent the outbreak.
Ah, so it wasn't a
No,
nuclear
that-
war going
that's,
off.
I mean, I'm really honored and everything, but
Believe me, you're the last person in the world I want to entrust with this, and I mean that quite literally. But by this time tomorrow, the entire city will have succumbed to chaos, panic, and death. You're here now, and you're all I've got.
wait,
Regrettably.
what about you? Can't you fix this, Doc? Don't you have a plan?
I can't go myself, because that would break the law of causality. The only
No,
reason
you
you
just
are
end
here
up
to warn
dying,
me
so
now
you'd
is because I
technically
was there to
be
send you.
fulfilling the
And the
exact
only reason I was
pattern
there
of
to
reality
send you
that I was supposed to
is
go.
because I was able to bring my work to fruition here.
But
We've no time to waste. It's the only way. You told me you found me this morning, correct?
yes, but
That means I failed to stop it, and the outbreak has already begun. The time pilot for today's trial must have brought the virus back from the future, which then
Which
somehow
means
got
you.
out of the containment chamber and spread.
It's
That
you,
pilot is Patient Zero.
which is probably you.
I
So
need
I'm
you to
infected
destroy
too.
the supercomputer system controlling the time machine. All the research data is stored there too. You must destroy it before the time machine departs.
Watch that be
I'm
the twist,
reconfiguring
actually.
your device to send you back 1 day earlier. This should allow you ample time to return to Archon and get inside. On the other shore from here, about 500 yards down the road, is a rest stop. You'll find a van there, fueled and ready to go.
How?
Oh, I already have a ride.
Which won't be there yesterday, you ninny. Now stop interrupting me.
Well, how are you gonna get it
One
there?
last thing, and I need you to listen carefully because this is very, very important. Make sure you do not meet the earlier version of you.
You've created a time paradox.
What will happen?
Dun dun
No
dun.
one
dun,
knows for sure.
Dun dun dun.
It's one of the conundrums not yet accounted for. There are theories, of course. None of them pleasant. Now, let's get you ready.
Oh yeah, he'll create a time paradox. He'll create a time paradox, and the whole freaking world will be doomed.
How did I get myself into this? I nearly got killed trying to reach Dr. Lambert thinking he had a plan.
But he's just a crazy person.
And it turns out it's me. I'm the plan.
Well, the
At
world's
least I don't
fucking
have
doomed.
to walk back. This van's not as cool as the ambulance, but it has its charm. And it sure was nice of him to pack me lunch.
Oh crap, it's just a can
I
of
wish he'd
tuna.
pack me a can opener for the beans, though. And some gas for the Bunsen burner. But I'm sure I'll think of something. I've got several hours of driving ahead of me after all. It'll be almost morning before I get to Archon. I just hope I have enough time.
Well, technically you do. If you just time it out perfectly, you can just keep hitting that reset button and keep doing that until you eventually succeed. We said our goodbyes the night before. Alright, outside Archon. Okay, so we finally have some direction in the game, and now we can finally get this underway. So, I will see you guys next time.